Nsfw, what looks awesome in movies but is terrible in real life. New York City apartments. NYC. Currently paying $1,900 for a 400 square foot studio in West Harlem. I love New York, but the apartments here kill me. Me and my partner came into a lot of money and decided to buy a place in Brooklyn. We had a decent budget for what we were looking for, 2-bedroom, hopefully 1.5 baths, but one was okay, and still the only thing we managed to get was something that needed a new bathroom, new floors, and all new appliances. Back home I could have bought a literal mansion for what we spent. Shooting guns indoors. Instantly deaf. Even outdoors without ear pro if you're not in the complete open, aka anything from an alley to an outdoor range with berms. Computer hacking. With 2 people on one keyboard. Love NCIS but damn, suspend reality much. Character 1, damn it I can't get in cause of the encrypted hydrothermometer. Character 2, English PLZZ. Well yeah. If it was like real life it would be a guy searching Stack Overflow for an answer to why his script won't run. Enhance. Dressing up as a vigilante and fighting criminals. Well kick ass and super kind of depicted it correctly though. Car parking. There is always a free spot just out the front of the building. And they never lock the car. Shooting or otherwise damaging a neon sign. In real life it just turns off, no cool sparks or explosions or electricity, just off. Probably from the assumption that there's a lot of power running through them. If I'm not mistaken, the effect is just the result of applying an electric current to some sensitive chemicals present in the tubes. It's not juiced like a transformer or anything. Getting out of a pool. Hell yes. Gracefully lift yourself out by the arms, pose for a second, then a quick turnaround to sit elegantly. Reality, drag myself halfway up, get a knee on the side, then grunt and wriggle until I'm all the way out and flopping around like a walrus. Sex on a sandy beach. I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating and it gets everywhere. Edit, thanks for the gold, kind stranger. Kissing underwater. Looks so cool, real life physics make it so tricky and awkward. Not saying goodbye when you hang up the phone. Every single goddamn conversation. This drives me nuts. Living in Switzerland, this would be so impolite and rude. Standing under a waterfall. It looks like a gentle shower, but in reality it's like thousands of tiny rocks pelting you from a great height. Oftentimes it's not just like that, it's exactly that. Furthermore, water is heavy and standing under a waterfall means a lot of water is falling on you. The sheer force of the water makes you now your head as it beats you down. Even standing up straight can be a struggle under a small waterfall. Source, stood under a 10-foot waterfall once. Plus some actual piece of wood floating on the water stream that could instantly kill you. There's a reason meditating under a waterfall is a thing badasses do in anime. Superhero landing. It is really hard on your knees. Being an electrician, plumber, pizza delivery guy, etc. I was severely disappointed when a lifeguard didn't save me from the non-existing shark in my bathtub. I see what you did there. That jumping around a corner while shooting at stuff. You'll hit nothing and land on your ass making a vulnerable target. Also, shooting a moving target from a moving vehicle is extremely difficult, and it's even more difficult if you're also trying to drive the vehicle at the same time. Did this once playing paintball. The area we were in had trenches and I was sneaking around. There were 2 people on the other team around a corner so I jump out, get one, then get shot by the other. Totally worth it. Life. Are you alright, man? Biggest of truths. Being a mall cop. Paul Blart Mall Cop. Paul Blart Mall Cop. Paul Blart Mall Cop. Kind of specific. But you see the maneuvers that Iron Man and War Machine pull in their power armor? Yeah. That shit would fucking liquefy your soft tissues and turn your bones to splinters. Pulls a high G-turn, blacks out, crashes into building and kills 4 civilians. Wait till you hear that Norse gods exist in their universe. If you think Tony Stark didn't develop some kind of inertial dampeners then you're insane. In lore, I'm sure it makes sense. Shower sex. In the movies it seems too sexy and intimate, but in reality it usually sucks because it's usually cramped. Water acts like an anti-lubricant. One person is usually cold or getting blasted in the face with water. You're one slip away from injuring yourself or both of you, and it's very easy to lose your footing if you get caught in the moment or have trembling legs. I'll also add sex on the beach to this because no matter how hard you try, you end up with sand in places you don't want to get sand. Tacking onto this, silk sheets are actually very slippery, and you might slip and slide right off the fucking bed if there are a lot of them. Don't forget that cum plus hot water equals boiled egg whites. Especially awesome if you have body hair. How about that no prep, no foreplay, super thrust to start off the sex? What could go wrong? Showers are for steamy makeouts. Bartending. We don't just pop open beers and magically make Cosmos appear instantly. In reality, I've probably also got Nance complaining about the other girl who made her drink, or me still waiting for my manager to apply this damn coupon. Bars take coupons? Combat, military exercise. You rarely see the bruises, dirt scratches, blisters or shaking muscles. And more importantly, the things you can only feel: pain, thirst, fatigue, ears being exposed to loud sounds, the whole mindset going nuts from these. People will make dumb decisions because their minds are so overdriven and fatigued. When you're dragging a machine gun made out of steel across a wet swamp at 2:30 a.m., been up for greater than 24 hours, feeling cold and being in auto drive mode carrying 30+ kilogram of equipment. It isn't cool at all, it's total BS. Disclaimer, haven't been in combat, so haven't had the actual fear of death on top of all these things. Modern naval combat is the complete opposite of the exciting movies. Hours and days of nothing, radar goes beep, you are dead. Brazilian movie Elite Squad Tropa de Elite portrayed the training for BOP military police quite realistically based on the experts. Blistered, fatigued men falling asleep whilst standing was far more realistic than any other training montage I've seen. Sex afterglow. No one gets up to clean up, they just roll off and lie there with the sheets and blankets all neat and pulled up. We just fugged. It was consensual. You were in me. I love you. We're really intimate. Now just let me cover my tits with this L-shaped blanket because I'm shy. Not because you're cold? No. It's not cold in here. You're sitting there without a shirt. Yeah, but I don't have tits. Honey, I've been meaning to tell you, you really need to lay off the candy bars. The worst for me is when they wake up in the morning and instantly start making out. All I can think of is morning breath. Killing people, not as in, wow that's so awesome, let's try it, but in, wow, what moves. In movies they all die quick and pretty. Reality is a tad different. Minion is hit and dies instantly, no matter the wound. Protagonist or antagonist is hit and still has enough time for an overly emotional speech. Also, having no emotional reaction to having just taken a life or lives. No second guessing yourself, not even a pang of guilt, they were definitely all bad guys, definitely deserved to die, there was no other way to have solved whatever problem you were faced with. Dead, 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 no problem. Even if military personnel, cops could be argued to have been trained for that shit ahead of time, the civilian sidekick they just picked up this morning is also fine with people being killed in front of them. Maybe they exclaim, "You just killed someone," the first time, but are instantly placated with a quippy one-liner, and watch on nonchalantly thereafter, maybe even joining in themselves a bit later in the day. Consciences? What are those? Swords in a back scabbard, Deadpool style. While it's possible to draw a short sword from a back scabbard, it's slow and you are very vulnerable while doing so, and the sword must be pretty short. First-time sex. A few movies depict the first time realistically. 40-Year-Old Virgin, for example, got it spot on. Shower sex. Inside. No one's house or apartment looks that shiny and clean or rich. Their job could be selling aluminum cans and their home will look like an architectural magazine. As I get older and work more, this always gets me. There's nothing like seeing a character who is allegedly out of work and/or short on funds living in a massive apartment house that is always perfectly clean and buying expensive items whenever they want as if budgeting doesn't exist. Wilfred shows Ryan mentioning being short on funds, then spending several $100 on weed and skipping work. In Californication, we see Hank and Charlie both complaining about being short on cash, yet spending money on incredibly wasteful items time and again: cocaine, top-shelf booze, over $10,000 for a guitar. Burn Notice repeatedly shows Michael turning down payment, and every episode's intro mentions that he has no assets because of being burned, yet he always has the money for designer, fitted suits and several $100 sunglasses, the list goes on. It's ludicrous sometimes. Like how a character comes home after work and there's lights already on. What? Is electricity free in your universe? Riding horses for days on end to get from point A to point B. So much chafing. Add a little bit of rain and it's just cold, disgusting chafing. Horses have to frickin' rest and eat. Your progress will be slow or the horse will get hurt, exhausted. Horses can't just gallop off into the sunset forever. You'll be walking most of it. You can't hand off your horse at point B to a random stable hand and expect them to know how to best take care of it. There's gotta be a bit of a conversation, and ol' Shadowfax is gonna probably need some time off. Unless you've got some kind of magic horse, you can't just turn it loose and whistle for it to come at the exact right moment. Even your trick-trained movie horse will have to be placed within earshot. And don't forget about the chafung chafed legs, feet, butts, balls. Chafed face and back for the horse. Source: equestrian with experience in endurance, long-distance riding. I do this for fun. I like how people have important and serious conversations while on horseback, but the horse never stops to piss for 15 minutes. Marie, the doctor said. Our son has CANC. PTH 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 PTPH. I had a roommate whose 5-year-old cousin used to come over and she'd watch me play Shadow of the Colossus because she liked the horse game and she'd tell me to slow down because the horse needed to rest. Getting shot, I assume. It's actually not as bad, in some ways at least. Not near as dramatic. You just feel like someone gave you a solid punch, it gets to burning pretty badly, and then it's cold. I've been shot, I didn't even realize I got hit until I saw the blood. You don't collapse, or fall down, or start hollering like a fucking banshee. Not immediately at least. It doesn't even really hurt until after the whole deal is over with. It's the fear at first, oh shit, I'm gonna die, what the fuck, why me, and then the recovery that's bad. I still remember how hard my heart dropped when I knew there was a bullet in my gut. Terrifying. Not that most movies don't drastically downplay how shitty getting shot is, but I have never seen a movie where getting shot is awesome. When some detective tells the camera guy to stop at the exact moment where he wants it and then goes like, zoom in. More. After which he says, now make it clear, and the camera guy presses a button and the image gets clear, no blur, no shit. I mean, dude, that's not how digital zoom works. Almost all movie fights where every enemy just waits his turn. Wielding double pistols Lara Croft style, or jumping while shooting. You aren't hitting shit in real life with that. Looks great on screen though. You usually can't hit anything at all with your offhand, you lose the ability to stabilize the pistol in your dominant hand, so it is less accurate, and it's nearly impossible to reload. Reloading is, as far as I know, pretty much always intended to be a two-handed process. You might be able to get around this in demonstration shooting by standing a few magazines up vertically on a tabletop or something, but that's not a realistic approach for practical combat. Plus, unless you have ambidextrous pistols or dedicated, custom, i.e. expensive, left-hand, right-hand versions of the same gun, the safety and magazine release are on the wrong side of the pistol in your left hand, which makes everything worse and more complicated. Even if you were a super expert who had practiced hours and hours of dual wielding, you wouldn't just be able to pick up 2 random guns from dead enemy soldiers, you'd need custom guns and some kind of bizarro custom magazine holster, and it'd still be simpler and more practical to just shoot with one gun at a time. Lara needs to ditch one of those and replace it with more mags. Also, my god, imagine trying to run with 2 full-size USPs with match weights strapped to your thighs. They must have edited out the scene where Lara goes down with a torn ACL. Beach sex. Dangerous driving on the highway or road in general. How have you not hit someone yet? Workout montage. Honestly, any montage looks cool in movies when in reality it's probably so boring. Imagine watching George Clooney getting into a thick rubber Batman suit for 2 hours. Sharing a strand of spaghetti with a dog. That one scene in Deadpool 2 where Deadpool literally gets ripped in half. Not much else to say. Yeah, that happened to me once and it was pretty awful, wouldn't recommend. Running. Talking in a club per bar. What? Car chases, looks really cool in the movies, until some idiot in real life wants to kill you because you took his lane and now he's hell-bent to kill you or cause you serious harm. Silencers on guns in action movies. Explosions. Yeah, there's a weird feeling you get when the shockwave hits you that can't really be described and isn't something I think I would ever get used to, at least not totally. CPR. You can't wake someone up with a CPR. Even with a CPR machine. Only the hospital can wake you up with adrenaline and stuffs. And the chances that you wake up, if you wake up, with no brain damage are very, very slim. And even if you do wake up, the chances are significant that you'll do so with broken ribs and a cracked sternum, as properly administered chest compressions are nowhere near as gentle as TV makes them look. Anal. Rom-coms make it seem so easy. Telling Sam to play it again. War. It's not easy to dual-wield guns.